Hello my dear Leos, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing your 2025 horoscope. Watch this if you're a Leo sun, rising or moon. Of course, first and foremost rising, because this is the most important placement in your astrology chart. Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, give this video a big thumbs up, and anyway you guys, let's get started. Of course, I do also want to mention that as much as I'm going to try to give you some of the most important transits for the year ahead, this is general, and in your individual chart there could be something that's very similar or very different taking place. So if you know your time of birth, if you know your individual chart, I highly recommend booking your 2025 consultation, which will give you a very specific and not general understanding of how these energies are moving in your own chart. So anyway guys, without any further ado, let's get started. So of course the most important transit of the year 2025 for the world, but for you especially, is Mars, a retrograde that's taking place in the sign of Cancerian and the sign of Leo. The entire transit of Mars through Cancer and Leo is not going to be over till June of the year. So this is the first half of the year, the most important definitely transit, easily, right? And for you, of course, this starts in your first house. Mars is actually re-entering Cancer on January 6th. February 23, this is where Mars goes direct in Cancer, and then it's going to re-enter your sign Leo in April, where it's going to stay till June, but then this transit is over. Mars is going to go into Virgo. So this is a very big transit for you guys. Of course, the ones who are going to feel it more are, of course, earlier born Leos, also people with placements late degree Cancerian. And I even made a video for this specific transit, so make sure you watch it. It's on my channel. I focus there specifically just on that transit, all the dates you need to know, Mars opposition to Pluto and all that good stuff. So what is this transit about? I would say that when Mars re-enters Cancer, which is pretty much in the beginning of the year, where it's going to stay till April, which is like first 4 months, right? Focus is in the 12th house. 12th house is your hidden enemies, it's your subconscious, any kind of loose ends you might need to take care of, anything that maybe you're working on behind the scenes, anything that maybe is happening in the area of research, creativity, bad pleasures could be. And I do feel like for some of you, you're going to be wrapping something up. Maybe there is a project that you were not fully ready to present to the world. There is still some finishing touches you have to make, working in secret, maybe even a little bit more. And this is where you're going to be focused in the first few months of 2025. Of course, with a transit like this, you could be also a little bit more restless. When Mars goes in 12th house, do make sure you get enough sleep, because you might just have to work a lot on different things, and you might be more restless, more irritable. Watch out for hidden enemies. But of course, all the specific configurations, there needs to be specific activations within your chart. Now Mars will re-enter your first house, which is in April of 2025, where it's going to stay essentially till June. In June, this whole shenanigans is going to be over when Mars goes into Virgo, which is your second house, and the focus will really shift more towards resources, money, and different things like this. But essentially from April to June, the focus is going to be, all on you. Essentially, I like Mars and Leo energy because this is where we demand the spotlight because we deserve it, and why not? So for a lot of you, yes, you're going to be in the spotlight somehow, for better or for worse in the spotlight. Hopefully for better. I think for better, most likely for better, right? And of course, there is also something about, when Mars is in the first house, is a good time to exercise. It always helps to channel any of this excess conflict or irritable, anger-prone energy into physical exercise. I always try to exercise, lately I'm always exercising, but I always try to, when I have similar transits, to channel my energy into exercise. Also, side note, I myself have now, in my secondary progressions, Mars and Leo, had this for the past few years. Interesting energy. So I feel like for a lot of you, again, I don't mind this. I prefer actually Mars and Leo to Mars and Cancer any day, because Mars and Leo is that natural celebrity. It's that superstar. Interestingly enough, a Leo rising with Mars and Leo is our new president in the United States, and he is a controversial figure, but most people love him. I think definitely more people love him than hate him, but he is, interestingly enough, it's not exactly activating his specific degrees, because he's more later born Leo, and his Mars even is also at Regulus 29 degree. So ironically, we'll see of course what happens, but essentially when you think of Mars and Leo, this is that the most famous person in the world type of energy. So for a lot of you, chances for spotlight could be there, absolutely. You also have the last eclipse in your 9th house as well. So there's been eclipses happening on your 9th and 3rd house axis since 2023. And for a lot of you, that's been about learning, finding your mission, finding that higher truth in some way. Now this journey is going to be over. Eclipses are now going to go into your 8th and 2nd house. North node, of course, in Pisces is going to be in your 8th. South node in Virgo is going to be in your 2nd. And sorry, I said that he, talking about Trump, that he's later born Leo. He's not later born Leo. He's a Gemini. I mean, he's a later degree ascendant. His regular is 29 degree ascendant, and so is his Mars, I believe, also 29th degrees. I have a whole video, by the way, on him on my other channel if you want to watch about that. But yeah, so eclipses are moving now anyway to North node in 8th, South node in the 2nd. So yes, you're going to be very much focused also on gaining the kind of resources, the kind of influence that you need in order to make your great plans a reality. North node in the 8th house, this is where we are very much focused on, sometimes you just know that you don't have enough money, or maybe you don't have enough talent to get done what you need to do. So you need to look for resources elsewhere, whether it's combining things, combining talents, combining resources with another person, whatever it is you need to do essentially to get the task done, to get the job done. I feel like this is what you're going to be focusing on starting right now, starting 2025. At the same time, interestingly enough, Saturn and Neptune are going to be leaving your 8th house, where North node is entering now, and going into your 9th house in the sign of Aries. So this is all about travel, higher learning, higher education, your higher purpose. Now, of course, Saturn and Neptune, and it's ironically, as I'm recording this, as I'm saying this, there's a helicopter, I think. Actually, no, not a helicopter, a seaplane with some kind of advertisement. I don't know what kind of ad is that, those of flying seaplanes. But yeah, essentially a plane could be a sign that, of course, with 9th house, there could be a lot of foreign travel, a lot of focus on education, things related to legal matters, education, immigration, anything that has to do with travel to foreign countries. This is going to be a very, very big area of focus. And interestingly enough, there's also going to be this Venus retrograde in the sign of Pisces and Aries, in sign of Aries and Pisces, more correctly so, in your 9th and 8th house, which starts and occurs right in this midpoint of ingress of Neptune first and then Saturn in this area of your life, of your chart. So definitely this is also going to be about expansion. Definitely this is also going to be about considering perhaps perspectives that you have not considered before. So yes, it is definitely the time of expansion for you. Now, of course, we need to understand something about Saturn and Neptune, right? Neptune ingress, by the way, is first. Neptune dissolves borders, boundaries, previous understanding, and washes everything away. It's the ocean, right? You don't really have borders of ocean. You have beach, right, shoreline, but even that, right, if you ever seen king tide or all kind of different things that could happen with the ocean, we think we can tame it, but again, ocean is so full of mysteries. We still don't even know what's at the bottom, right? Like, there's explorations, but there's theories, and anyway, so that's Neptune. And then you have Saturn, which couldn't be further from that energy. Saturn is all about borders, boundaries, structures, rules, regulation, specific way of doing things. Literally, Saturn, right, is rings. Saturn has the rings around it. And if, interestingly enough, right, when we get married, so to say, get tied down, we wear rings. Very, very interesting, very Saturnian. So one removes limitation, boundaries, borders, another creates them. And I think it's going to be definitely like this planet is in for a ride. And so all of us, and for you, this is about this 9th house. Again, that everything has to do with foreign countries, cultures, your understanding of the world in general. Very interesting how this is going to be play out, but oh boy, you will learn. Oh boy, oh girl, whoever is watching this. And another interesting thing is, of course, with all these ingresses, we also have Jupiter that's been in your 11th house since May of 2024. That's going to be ingressing in your 12th house now. Now, the year 2025 starts with Jupiter still being in your 11th house, which all represents your big goals, big projects, big dreams, communities, people who celebrate you, people who don't celebrate you as well. And there is still some work or something you need to do, something you're still accomplishing, some blessings, some openings there in the first half of 2025. So for a lot of you, in the first 5-6 months of 2025, there are still opportunities to make your dreams a reality, especially when it comes to social approval in some way, perhaps, or creating communities, entering communities, which could be very good for you in the long run. Again, I remember when Jupiter was entering my 11th house from Ascendant, I was like, I don't have friends. I'm antisocial. I will never have friends. What are you talking about? And it was a long time ago the transit happened. This was the first time I ever made friends, in my life. I know it sounds good depressing, but I entered various spiritual communities at that time. I entered various communities just in general, not just spiritual. And some of the friends I made during that transit are still my friends to this day, or somehow through those friends I met other friends or made other connections. So it was definitely very important. Now again, you still have 5 months of this transit, culmination of this transit in 2025, and then in June of 2025 Jupiter will enter your 12th house of endings, house of wrapping things up. So first and foremost, of course, when Jupiter enters your 12th house, this is about spiritual growth. This is about maybe even wrapping certain things up from the past, finishing the cycle. Again, Jupiter takes 12 years to transition zodiac. It stays about a year in each sign. And for you, this is some preparationary, I guess, moment for when Jupiter enters Leo. Not this year, but in 2026, Jupiter will go into your sign. And it's almost like, again, there is something to say here, looking also at how this Mars retrograde occurs in the beginning of the year in your 12th house. And then you have Jupiter entering that area of your house, of your chart in the second half of 2025. It's almost like you are being prepared for something. And yes, you already are at the peak in many ways of what you want to accomplish, but it's not yet, so to say, 100% of it. The full, so to say, the full activation will come in 2026, and 2025 seems to be the year that prepares you for this. Now, I know it sounds crazy because, again, for a lot of Leos, it's true, especially Leo risings, 2024 was that year where, yes, a lot of things have come to essentially its culmination, especially with Jupiter. When Jupiter is in the 11th house, very often we get that reward, right? We get that pat in the back, so to say. But it's not all yet, especially, again, looking at all of this 11th, 12th house activations, looking at the 9th house activations, looking at how Uranus also will enter your 11th house in July of 2025. I feel like as much you might already feel like you are on top of the world and you are so close to all your dreams, maybe you already are, like being celebrated in some ways. The full, so to say, culmination of that, and so to say the full the completion of that, of what you're going for, might actually come to you in 2026. But this time period right now is quite literally preparing you for even a bigger victory. So you might have, again, I have a lot of clients who are Leo risings who've been experiencing great success in their career recently. The opportunities they were looking for, they've been working towards all their life. But for a lot of them, it's like they're almost there, but maybe it's like not 100% yet. Or they feel like, yeah, I've already achieved so much. And again, this is something, my advice to you is that, yes, you're right now reaching that peak, but it's not even the full peak yet. It's not even the complete top yet. There is still more to come. And I do think that whatever you do, how you prepare in 2025 can largely influence also how big the victory, going forward is going to be. Uranus in 11th house will bring you crazy opportunities for, expanding your influence, social circles, the kind of friends that you never thought you were gonna, be able to attract in social circles. Popularity even, perhaps, maybe even communities, friends, people around you who are a bit eccentric, to a certain degree. So yes, it's definitely a very interesting one for you. And of course, again, a reminder that this is general, depending on your specific degrees, what degrees are activated, what's happening when we look at your chart, everything needs to be looked at and taken into consideration. There could be a lot of this that will be super specific to you. Some of it might apply less, some of it might apply more. As I'm recording this video, we're still offering 2025 personalized consultation. You can book that in the description box down below, in the links down below. But other than that, yeah, this looks like a very, very interesting year. I'm super excited for it personally because, it's like there's so much of shifts, like so many shifts that are happening that for a lot of us, we've been ready for it, I think, for a long time. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give this video a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. We're almost at 100K. And yes, you guys, I don't know what else to add. I think this is it. So let me know your stories, your questions, your comments. Thank you so much. As always, I wish you the most amazing year ahead. Happy New Year. Happy 2025. Thank you guys as always. Love you all. We'll talk soon. Bye.